all the spermatogenic factors and supports. Okay, vitamins have not been documented absolutely as a definite role in the spermatogenesis. We still have sometimes deficiencies affect, but not a very strong body of evidence is there. No. Okay, there are some mild effects in vitamin deficiencies, vitamin A deficiency or vitamin E deficiency, because they affect epithelia. Okay, and that's why epithelia are important in the testis also.
Sir,
yeah.
can the food that are rich in cholesterol increase the spermatogenesis?
See, food is required for the nutritional support. Okay, as long as you are getting plentiful amounts of glucose and fatty acids and proteins in your balanced diet, along with the vitamins and minerals, you are giving an ample support to the testicular cells and the seminiferous tubule cells. Okay, but in case of malnutrition for a long time, those persons who are starving and living under the conditions of malnutrition in some parts of the world when they don't have food, then the process of their spermatogenesis is also affected. Not in a normal person usually. Food is not a major factor in an average normal person, but only under special conditions it becomes important. We need a balanced diet for everything, for every area of the body. Other vulnerable factors, okay, which can cause damages. Radiations. Testes are very sensitive to the radiation. Radiotherapies. We keep ourselves away from the radiation units when we are doing the X-rays or when we are doing those CT scans or machines. You have to have a shield in between proper, and you have to keep distance also. Moreover, if you don't do that, the changes in the epithelia can occur, and sometimes the testicular carcinomas, seminomas can develop as a result of radiation hazards. Moreover, infertility can develop and can damage it. Okay, radiations in other forms also. Okay, if we are getting radiations from anywhere from outside and they are affecting, for example, radiotherapy for cancer treatment. Many patients develop cancer and they have radiotherapy. Now look at the number of sperms, look at the speed of sperm formation. On daily basis, millions and millions and millions of sperms are forming. Millions and millions are forming on daily basis. They are dying also, but they are forming also. They are getting released also. They are ejaculated also. All the things are happening. But look at the immense number of, and look at the dividing potential or the mitotic and meiotic potential of the testis. It is very fast. The radiations and chemotherapies, they affect the rapidly dividing cells very quickly. The chemotherapy as well as radiations, they affect these cells. Why the persons become, okay, let me put the question in another way. A person is undergoing chemotherapy or radiotherapy. Okay, there are some areas of the body which develop damage very easily and he starts showing the changes. A cancer patient will show some changes. What kind of changes will you observe? Hair. A very quickly dividing hair follicular cell. So the chemotherapy has to act here. Okay, so we have alopecia, loss of hair very quickly. You see, gone. Baldness. What else? Which area? Anemia, bone marrow, anemia and pancytopenia, low counts of the blood cells, very rapidly dividing cells. What is the other area? Quickly. Skin, hair follicles, done. Okay, testes and ovaries. Okay, oogenesis and spermatogenesis affected. Spermatogenesis khususan. Yeah. What else? One more area. I started having chemotherapy and you will see a miserable condition of mine because of hair loss, infertility. Okay, GIT. Oh yeah, I'll start throwing up, nausea, vomiting all the time, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. Why? Epithelium of the GIT is so quickly turning over itself, changing. So 4 areas of the body, please. Very quick turnover, including the gonads also, the sperms, please. Keep it in mind. These areas are affected by all conditions. Many infections like mumps, other viral infections, they can affect the, okay. Sometimes infections like typhoid has inflammatory effects. Orchitis can develop in typhoid also. Many toxins They're not easily allowed to enter through the blood-testis barrier, but sometimes blood-testis barrier is damaged mechanically by the toxins, and in that case, antibodies and toxins can enter and they can destroy the sperms, okay? So that was the idea. Look at this graph, very interesting graph. Look at yourself and let us assume something from that graph. What is the graph depicting? What is it telling actually? Look at the phases of the life. Look at the graph. We are just about to finish really. But what's happening in the graph? The graph is showing you what? Horizontally, what is the graph showing you? This way. You are moving. I'm moving this way. What is the graph showing? Phases of the life, the time of life that we are passing, okay? And that begins from fetal life, okay? Our life begins from the fetal life, okay? Till the end of the life, whatever, okay? And what is there in that axis? Hormonal levels, okay? So match the hormonal levels with the life phases. Look at the fetal life, one by one, go to the fetal life and focus. What do you see in the fetal life about that hormone? Oh yeah, and look at the height of the hormone, okay? It's a good sizable quantity, a release of the testosterone. Now what is testosterone doing at that time? We are not doing anything. We are not doing any sexual act at that time. We are not having any sexual function. We are not having any spermatogenesis at that time. We are not acting as a male, functional male at that time, even though you have a very high concentration of testosterone. What is it doing? Why would you want estrogen at that time? Do you really want estrogen at that time? In the fetal life? Do you want to convert testosterone into estrogen inside the Sertoli cells, even though they are there? Do you really want? Do you want spermatogenesis during the fetal life? La, there is no concept, okay? So that is minimal. Forget about that. What else? Oh yeah, okay. Well, you need, well, the controller is LH. Do you have LH in the fetal life? In males? From the early fetal life? I say yes, we have. So what do you say? LH in a hidden form, in a transformed. Okay. HPL is the human placental lactogen, and that is not subserving the function of the LH. No. HCG. Come on. HCG. Look, what is HCG doing? It is doing the same thing, isn't it? Okay. So HCG is a very special hormone. That is LH of the fetal life. So LH is stimulating testosterone. Testosterone is controlling the development of primary and internal and external genitalia formation. Internal genitalia formation and external genitalia formation. Okay. One more thing we want for the testosterone to be done during the fetal life. What else? Yeah. Any function? Any other function? Testosterone. Development, okay? It is acting on the fetal brain also. We are not sure about it. Maybe it's transforming an initial message to be a male, to be a future male. We are still fighting on that really. Okay, yeah. What else?
Development of the skin.
All development is done for the male. Yani now, alhamdulillah, male fetus is formed, internal genitalia, external genitalia. That's a great job by the testosterone, thanks to it. What else? One more function. Very lovely, Mashari. Thank you. Excellent answer. And that is the descent of the testes. In the final month of the intrauterine life, there is a descent which is done by both HCG and testosterone together in collaboration. They are working and they are bringing about the descent of the testes before we are born. The testes are in the scrotal sac for most of the male infants, okay? It happens like this, isn't it? This is the function, another function of the testosterone. So testosterone has done a very good job for the development and for the descent and for some changes in the CNS development of the fetus, male fetus, and some probably at that time future changes that we will see later, inshallah. Okay, what happens next in the neonatal life? Why do you have testosterone here? What is the reason? Who is giving you the testosterone here? Who is producing testosterone? Come on, boys. Who is producing? Source. Leydig cells, right? Leydig cells present. Now the child is born. Okay? Do you have testosterone? This is the first year of life. Yes or no? Look at the graph. Okay? Look at the graph. The graph is telling you the truth. Do you have testosterone? Yes or no? Some amount, majood or no? There, in the first year of life, for the first couple of months, maybe first 6 months or so. Why? It is, yeah, growth metabolically, some growth. It is giving a little growth to the newly born, okay? All right. What else? Where is it coming from? Here. LH is okay, controlling. That's another thing. I'm saying source. My question, let me rephrase and put my question in another way. The question is, do we have Leydig cells after birth in a maulud? Now it's the first year of life. Do you still expect Leydig cells to be there? Yes? No. Yes or no? One answer. No. The diagram is saying yes or no? Yes. Okay. So believe the diagram. Okay. Leydig cells are there. Leydig cells do not die and they still remain for a couple of months. They slowly and gradually get atrophied. Atrophy develops. Okay. But Leydig cells are there. Your answer is right. Okay. Leydig cells are there and then they disappear. Now they will remain disappeared for a long time and they reappear again at the age of puberty, right? And then thereafter they remain in our lives, okay? Secreting the mounts. You can see, look at the old age, the last part of the age, if we ever reach that part after the age of like 70 years or 80 years, whatever, what happens? Is it spermatogenesis, yes or no? Yes. Do you still have the testosterone levels? And not a bad level actually. Still the level is not bad at that age. Look at the age of the 80 years and look at the graph. Still the level is not bad, isn't it here? Okay. If you are looking at this process, this is your hormone and the hormone level is this much and this is your spermatogenesis which is going. So they are going side by side till the last age. It is there. A very good amount, isn't it? Okay. I am not conventionally going for all the functions because we are covering the functions completely, okay? We are only left with the few metabolic functions of the testosterone for the support of the bones and for the general metabolism, okay? It's a great supporter, one of the anabolic hormones for the muscles and for the skeleton also, acting on the kidney and holding and retaining some electrolytes and maintaining the electrolyte balance as well, okay? Testosterone also accelerates your linear growth slowly as compared to estrogen, but yes, it does. And finally what happens? It will close the epiphysis at an age, but later than girls actually, you know that. We keep growing later than girls till 17 years, sometimes till 16 or till 18 in other instances, okay? All right. Well, this is the diagram, okay? I'm not doing anything. Look at the diagram. Can you see it from the back side, please, all of you? Can you see from the back side? Diagram. Can you see that? Because it's distance, that's why I'm asking. Can you see that? What is happening here? Very quick summary. What is happening? This diagram, this is the whole story of the testosterone and dihydrotestosterone shown diagrammatically, okay? Well, testosterone is coming out as a solo hormone, mainly hormone from the testis, isn't it? Okay, main hormone, little amount of dihydrotestosterone, the main one is testosterone. Now it is entering into the target cells, all right, this is the target cell. What is next? Can you see the two pathways of testosterone? One pathway will continue as testosterone, But the other pathway, you know that. What is that pathway? Oh, dihydrotestosterone, isn't it? Okay. Which enzyme is needed? All right. Now, look at the testosterone pathway. Same receptor concept, same DNA, same stimulation, same expression of genes. That's okay. But look at the functions, final functions carried by the testosterone. Now, that is giving you a summary. Please have a look. What functions are done by the testosterone in the body mainly? Look at the list of functions. Come on. Look at the functions. Come on. What's happening? Gonadotropin regulation. So the feedback. Khalas. One thing. Spermatogenesis. Okay, we know that. Sexual differentiation, fetal life, isn't it? Remember that. Developing, inhibiting the female system and maintaining the male system, and developing the male internal genitalia, plus to some extent external also, genital system in general, internal mainly. Okay. Wolffian stimulation, yani the main genital system stimulation. Forget about that. Now don't see at this area. Go back and start from the dihydrotestosterone now. What is happening? What is the function of the dihydrotestosterone? What is it giving you? External virilization. What do you mean by external virilization? External features of masculinity. Well, the appearance of the penis and the scrotum, and inside the testes are there. So the external appearance of the male is giving you the virilization. External virilization means external male genitalia formation. Formation of the male external genitalia is mainly under control of di, and it's slightly under control of testosterone. Okay, but mainly dominated by dihydrotestosterone. Even in the fetal life, I'm saying, because our genitalia are formed in the fetal life. We don't wait for the birth of the baby. Okay. Now that's a very interesting part of the story. Now, what else? At the time of puberty, what happens? Yeah, sexual maturity, growth of the external genitalia, to some extent the internal, the prostate growth also, and skin changes and many things controlled by dihydrotestosterone. The others are controlled by the testosterone. Okay. Well, please, going back here. 5-alpha reductase. A very unique enzyme, deficiency, okay, in one of the areas of the world, okay, close to the areas of South America, some of the islands are there, and some parts of Africa, there in between that, there are some special islands where there is a very famous phenomenon, and that phenomenon I'll tell you later. They have a deficiency of 5-alpha reductase genetically. Okay, there is a genetic deficiency of 5-alpha reductase. Okay, all right. If there is a deficiency, if the male fetus is developing and the fetus has a deficiency of 5-alpha reductase, guess what will happen? Of what? Of external genitalia, because now you are focusing the external virilization or external genitalia. These babies are born. They are genetically males or females? Males, okay. But when they are born, they have ambiguous genitalia. Their scrotal sac is not fused to form the scrotum, and it remains slit open like labia majora, okay. And their penis is very small, like a clitoris of the female. Now, as a culture, because the families are not very literate, they take or accept that baby as a male or a female. Oh, they accept it as a female. They start developing the baby as a female, because at that time you cannot tell properly. Okay, they are not scientists, they are not doctors, they don't go to the doctors, but they have a problem. So now there is awareness, but it used to be like this. The babies grew as girls, okay, dressed like girls, developed like girls, supported like girls, until the age of 11 years or 12 years, which is the time of the maturity of the boy. And all of a sudden, the girl shows some changes, and changes in the voice, huskiness of the voice, and changes in the behavior, aggression, and the parents do not know now what is happening, okay? And these so-called girls started having attraction towards the that's another part of the story, okay? So that's so confusing, isn't it? Okay? Naturally there was no problem because they are from inside, they are boys, males. They had their testes in the abdomen. Testes had problems also, but testes were still sufficient to produce testosterone at that time, 12 years of age. All of a sudden there was hormonal surge and they started developing their secondary sexual characteristics of the males, because they were males. They were actually born as males but accepted and raised as the females, okay? They develop that little clitoris-like growth changes and it develops into a penis because of the stimulation of the testosterone. The testosterone is not converted into dihydrotestosterone, but there is an immense quantity of testosterone. If there is extra quantity of testosterone, that can overcome the action of the dihydrotestosterone also. So finally what happened? They developed penis, they developed testicles, they already have it. They developed secondary sexual characteristics, and this syndrome is known as penis at 12 syndrome. At the age of 12, the penis develops, and later some of these underwent the plastic surgery operation and the scrotal sac was formed, the testes were taken outside extra-abdominally, and they led their normal lives. They even married and they had their normal lives, okay? Look at the miracles of nature, how do they happen? So this is how it happens. This is about the 5-alpha reductase. If it is deficient, what will happen? It is a change, okay? It is called the pseudo-hermaphroditism. This is an example of pseudo-hermaphroditism. You call it male pseudo-hermaphrodite, having both sexes, yani external genitalia like female, but actually a male. So it's a hermaphrodite, but it's not an actual or a true hermaphrodite, so you call it pseudo-hermaphrodite. Because he is a male genetically, you call it male pseudo-hermaphroditism, okay? So this penis at 12 is an example of male pseudo-hermaphroditism, okay? Yes?
How do they develop testosterone while they have the deficiency of this enzyme?
See, their testes are producing testosterone. What they are deficient in is dihydrotestosterone. If you block the pathway of dihydrotestosterone, the testosterone is building up in their body, and that testosterone amount overcomes and it develops the functions also. That's why I say that all the functions of dihydrotestosterone and testosterone are not absolute, they are proportional. If you increase the testosterone, it can also perform the function of the dihydrotestosterone, okay? Look at this one, please. This diagram, 1 or 2 diagrams are left, we are done. We are all males. Genetically in our life, when we develop our chromosomes as XY, we develop Y chromosome, and on the Y chromosome there is a gene called sex determining gene, okay? And that gene is there, SRY, and this gene will give rise or produce some special proteins called the testis determining factor. This is a story of the male child, okay? Genetical male. When this factor is formed, this factor will give you a production of some proteins, and these proteins will morphogenize and they will form an area or a nest of cells which will grow into the testis. So if that gene is موجود, then in that case a protein is موجود. If that protein is موجود, that protein will cause in turn formation of some special proteins, and they will control the formation of the testis. So it's a step-by-step procedure. So all we have to have for male and for producing testes, number one, we should have Y chromosome, XY and a Y chromosome. We don't want the X chromosome for that, we want Y chromosome. On Y chromosome, we want a makhsus gene. From that gene, we want a factor or a protein which is expressed. And from that protein, we will express multiple proteins. And those proteins will trigger enzyme systems and morphogenesis of the tissues, and they will form the testis, okay? This way. And then you will differentiate into the Leydig cells and the other parts, Sertoli cells and all that, all right? All the functions are done for the Testosterone, you read it yourself. We have done it in secondary sexual characteristics also. I'm not repeating these functions. I am not really touching this area of hypo or hypergonadism, okay? Leaving it for you. Hypogonadism means low function, when the gonads do not function right from the beginning, primarily or secondarily, okay? There are different types of that, okay? That can happen in males or females. We are talking here about the males, hypogonadism, primary or secondary. Read it yourself, and what are the diseases which are producing it, okay? Those males who are having hypogonadism, obviously they develop a typical feature of the body. The only thing is that they develop a tall stature, their height increases, okay? Their epiphyseal closure is delayed with takhir, and they have the feminine like appearance. They grow, they don't develop the typical musculature and changes in the male, and they have a feminine like appearance for that. And they also develop sometimes gynecomastia. Their external genitalia are very infantile like, and they never pass through the normal stages of the puberty, and they are called eunuchs, okay? Eunuchs, eunuchoidism is the term, E-U-N-U-C-H. Eunuch is the term for a hypogonad male, okay? If the male does not develop normally, he is developed as, we sometimes call them, different terminologies are used, as a third sex or the middle sex between the two sexes, okay? Neither a male nor a female, and the eunuch is the term, scientific term that we use for that, okay? Hypergonadism, when the excessive secretion of the androgens, and that produces extra features, or the excessive growth of, or the exaggerated appearances of all the testosterone effects, okay? Extra muscularity, sometimes it can happen in the form of growth of the genitalia, especially in the childhood. A precocious puberty can happen. Many things can happen if there is hypergonadism, okay? Keep it in mind as a summary that you have to carry the physiology of the testosterone and androgens regarding the primary and secondary sexual characteristics, the action of the Sertoli cells and the hormonal supports and the factors of the spermiogenesis and spermatogenesis, okay, with a background of metabolism of all these hormones done in the biochemistry, that how the pathways are forming the hormones, where are they produced from, okay? So that was the whole idea. Read it yourself, raise questions if you have it. We have one more lecture, we'll finish it next time inshallah, and it is about the mammary gland. We'll arrange it inshallah, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you for staying. Thank you.